Are points of interest driving directions still effective for ranking a local GMB or G sites for a home contractor that does basements, flooring, painting, decks, etc.? I don't know. I've not done specific testing with driving directions only. So I can't answer that, Craig. I don't know. We do driving signals, not just driving directions, but actually we simulate driving through the Google Maps app with Local Fury. But again, it's more effective for storefront businesses than it is for service area businesses. We do still now, we're doing some driving signals for service area businesses, but I intentionally keep that restricted to a very low volume because I don't want it to be considered an unnatural signal, and it can be. If you're able to generate driving signals from the address of the business out into the service area, that is more effective. And it's also more natural, especially if you can have the same driving signal, like from the same profile or set of profiles, because then that acts or simulates as if it's an employee of that business. And since it's a service area business, it makes sense to be having driving signals going from the business out into the service area. If it's a storefront business, our driving signals are very effective, actually. That's why, again, so for service area businesses, we're limited. And again, a lot of that's intentional on my part because I don't want to create what would be unnatural signals in any significant volume, because then it can be ignored, if that makes sense. Then real natural organic signals can be ignored. I don't want to red flag any projects, if that makes sense. So we do driving signals that we've done a lot of testing with, but driving directions alone, I'm not sure. And maybe Craig, and I know you're here, so I'll check the comments. I know there has been a lot of, over the years, a lot of training about just creating driving directions maps and then embedding those into pages. If that's what you're talking about, I don't know that that's still effective or not, because I'm not specifically tested that myself. The actual driving signals, though, that is effective. There's no question, especially if you can do it from, profiles that are more validated than others, if that makes sense. So let me go check and see if there's any comments about that. Jesper says, yes, they have some positive effect. I mean, driving directions and points of interest. Again, and I believe Jesper. What's up, Jesper, by the way? If he says that, then I believe him, because I know he does a ton of testing. I don't do, not with those driving directions. And that's what I mean. Again, I'm assuming the driving directions maps is what you're talking about. We've done a lot of testing with driving signals, but driving directions maps, if that's what you mean, I've not done any testing with that in 3 years at least. Years ago, that was very effective. If Jesper says it's still effective, then I believe it is. And by the way, I know that, I don't manage the kind of fulfillment side of like the cloud stacks and geo stacks that we're doing as part of Local Fury signals. But I know that there's some of that incorporated into that. So it must still be effective. But again, me personally, I've not done any testing with that in probably 3 years. Anyway, thanks, Jesper, for chiming in. I appreciate that, man.